All right, I have, again, my Jarvis barrel here. The rain is starting to calm a little bit. The wind is picking up, unfortunately. I'm just gonna shoot at 50 yards today, and we're gonna see what kind of groups I can get with a couple different lots of ammo, and I'll try to combine a few targets to give you a more conclusive idea of what I can experience. But this shouldn't be terrible for a wind for at least the next half an hour before it gets real blustery. So I think I'll have some reliable results. I'm gonna try a little bit with the can on and the can off. I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit, and I'll explain why probably a little later in the video, but here we go. Okay guys, here's a brief synopsis of what I saw today. Shooting the same light, same wind, same barrel, obviously. I was shooting at 55 yards, 48 degrees, about 6 to 7 mile an hour winds in there. It was pretty consistently coming from the northeast. So on the left, we have SK semi-auto. You can see that with the can on, it didn't really like having the can on. I took the can off and I shot all MOA size groups, technically slightly sub MOA size groups. Went over to wolf match target with no can on for this one. And you know what? It just didn't perform super well. None of those were MOA or smaller size groups. So wolf match target, not really a winner for this barrel, but that's okay because look at the next group. When I move over, you can see I had a cold bore at the top there with some SK rifle match. And all of those are sub MOA. They are very tight, quarter inch. I threw the can on and it only opened up a little bit. It did seem to make it hit a slightly different location too. A little bit of point of impact shift, but that is so respectable. I couldn't believe how consistent SK rifle match was all day. This is not the only target. This is just one that shows you kind of the bulk amount here with some 5-shot groups, but SK rifle match is certainly worth revisiting, as are the rest of the SK branded ammos. Now let's take a look at that Lapua Biathlon from, well, it's actually Lapua Polar Biathlon with the can on. Now check those groups out. That is incredible consistency. Really tight. I'm seeing 0.25. I did have a 1/8 inch group in there, which is incredible. That is all with a can on, guys. I am so impressed. And so I'm going to say generally with some other brands, the can that I had right here might have been a little more sensitive. And I plan on probably upgrading that can to the Anaco X can. They're sending that out to the channel. It's going to be superior. It's probably going to have less shift for point of impact. But the can I had right now, which is a really cheap, affordable can, still performed really well with this ammo and this barrel combination. So well done to Jarvis. Those groups are incredible. And I just want to show you, even in a little bit of wind, the consistency is there. This is a performer, absolute performer of a barrel. And I'm really happy with these groups overall. something worth mentioning really quickly is that a lot of times when I test out 22 barrels or I test out ammunition, I'm testing them out on my heaviest rig and the biggest rifle I have with the most weights and all that sort of thing, just to make it balance. This, though, is a folding stock HB Industries, technically, chassis with this, and it has no weights on it. It just has an Arca rail and a very lightweight scope, technically, compared to the other scopes that I run. So this is actually a really lightweight setup to be running this barrel, and the barrel is still performing really, really well. I guarantee, absolutely guarantee, if I throw this in some of my other chassis that are much heavier and have weights on them, it's gonna be even steadier. Not to mention, this trigger is 14 ounces. That's too heavy for me. I don't like that. I think I need to probably throw in a lighter weight spring by far, because I'm noticing some impacts that are due to trigger pulls, and that's still me. But if I lighten up that trigger pull, I throw it in a heavier chassis, this thing is probably gonna print even tighter than it already is. I'm so impressed with this lightweight setup right here. It's kind of my squirreling rifle at this point. This setup can perform groups like that. If you have a big chassis, a thicker chassis, maybe an MDT or the new Vision chassis, you're definitely gonna see some incredible increases on what I've shown you already. I'm really happy to see that this barrel does very good with the SK ammo, because I spent like a lot of money on quite a bit of SK ammo, and it seems like amongst that brand, not too picky. Does really good with just about everything I've run so far, and I'm having a good time shooting the Nevius chamber at extended distances here, even in low light. Pretty good results overall. I'm going to go ahead and do a little testing with this ammo and see what happens. So at 330 yards, let's see, should be around 15.4. There it is. Yeah. Oh, those are on top of each other. Wow. I really chose the wrongest time, the worst time to take down my target camera. I'm just shooting some steel at 330. It's too dark to really get much footage, so I usually put the target camera away, but that would have looked really good for footage. Those last three are touching each other at 330 with a 22. So that's like, it's probably an inch group or something. Oh my gosh. I love this barrel. It's pretty sick. Let's do some clays. Empty. Ah! So I've always just been a really big fan of stainless barrels in general. If I'm not doing something, that's like a tactical build, I don't mind the sheen on the barrel. It doesn't glare on me. I really like the look of this, and gotta be honest, that big, thick barrel, that .92, a lot of people asked about it today because they could tell that it was aftermarket, that it was not a standard CZ barrel for sure. And they come over and look at it, and then they feel the balance, because the rifle balance is so much better now. And a lot of people did go out and get one of these CZ varmint chassis rifles, and then they saw the limits of the performance that they could see, with the match, or with the non-match barrel rather, non-MTR barrels. And this is a significant increase over those. And so I think a lot of people are asking questions for the right reasons, like, how much is that? That's usually a very serious person. Say, how much is that? Where did you get it? Where's the website? And they pull out their phone, they start looking at it. So it's an attractive build. It's really cool that it's threaded and it's still performing this well. I decided to try a little bit without the can on here tonight. And, it's an 18, so it pushes the sound out far enough. And it's just super reliable. It's fun. It makes this rifle more fun. And for those of you who are curious, no, it is not touching. It is fully free-floated all the way through the chassis. But it comes close. But not too bad. It's actually probably double paper. I could fit 2 pieces of paper through there okay. So not concerned about it actually touching or buzzing on that chassis. You can go ahead and throw a few more down. my gosh. I can't believe how, I mean I can, but I just can't believe how consistent this thing is in the wind tonight. I'm not even going to use the rear bag. Let's see what happens here. That's ridiculous. That's a 6-inch target at 330. That is just stupid consistent. That's 3 hits in a row. Easy. That was just crazy. Go up a little bit on the camera. That's crazy. Yeah, man, I gotta finish out this box and pack it up. Very happy though, guys. I'm incredibly pleased with this setup. It shocks me actually. All right, at 330 yards, I'm just gonna use some SK ammo for this. At 330, I'll throw a few on that silhouette real quick. I'm gonna make sure that it's on, and then maybe I'll do some clays after that as the sun goes down. I will do this with, I'll do it with the can on, which maybe just changes it a little bit. Changes my data a little bit, makes it hit a little lower, just a bit, and maybe opens the groups up a tiny, tiny bit. Not much, but here we go. Audio sync. There we are. 330. Let's make sure we get these on the plate to start with. That's an impact. That's 2. Okay. Hopefully you could hear those. Let's move over. Okay, so over there, it's a little further away, there is a 6-inch or a 5-inch target. Can't remember if it's a 5 or 6, but that target, that's an impact. That's an impact. So you probably saw it better than I did, because I'm going to zoom it out, or zoom it in on the camera, but it looks like I was actually hitting high, so I need to come down a little bit. But other than that, it's really consistent. It's a really great barrel. I'm so happy with this. And the fact that it can shoot stuff like SK, hitting 2 MOA targets at 300 yards, just easy, point and shoot. Pretty cool. Just 2 in a row. All right, it's getting real dark, and I can't remember if I filmed the closing for this because I filmed so many days for this scope, or for this barrel rather. So is this barrel for you is a great question to ask, because it's not for everybody. Some of you probably just don't care to upgrade your barrels, and you're not doing precise shooting, you're not doing precise hunting, competition, NRL 22, and you just don't care that much, and everything's too expensive for you anyways. That's definitely a group of people out there. and you're fine. CZ barrels can do okay. There is a group of people that's growing pretty quickly. It's a really big group of people at this point. I've noticed online, just Facebook groups and stuff. They care about performance, and they want a drop-in barrel that isn't $800 that can perform with these kind of groups with unique chamberings. And I don't know anybody else who's making this chambering who's producing these kind of groups. I've tried some really nice barrels, and I've seen increased performance with better barrels. I've tried some longer barrels, shorter barrels, but this guy shoots so tight. And so I'm going to say this is for anybody who wants a drop-in barrel and wants to shoot better. As long as you're willing to shoot at least like SK Redbox and some of the other SK brands, if you can go a little better into the Lapua kind of brands, I'm just so impressed at this. It is superior to me over the Jarvis match chambering because I'm willing to shoot these brands. But if I wanted to stick with the Wolf or some of the other things, I think the Jarvis match barrel would be just fine too. I still saw really tight groups with that barrel. I was very impressed. And I've had to shoot with the elements, the wind and all that too. I've been dealing with a lot. I'm shooting in the nighttime basically to try to deal with less wind and rain. But if I had to pick and I could just have one, and I was willing to pay the money for the ammo, which it's not that much more expensive, honestly, I think I would lean towards this barrel. It's just so incredibly consistent. And that's the thing that's amazing. Now, the match chambering that I had on the other Jarvis barrel that was also an 18-inch, same contour, .92 stainless steel, incredibly well made. That barrel, it did suppress really well with certain kinds of ammo that I like to shoot a lot. So my solution, which is a ridiculous solution, but I'm going to do it, I'm going to get a third CZ457 Action. I'll sell that factory barrel and stock and all that, and I'm going to put the Jarvis match barrel on one. This barrel will stay right here. I think it's an incredible, for the fact that this is so light and it performs so well, I'm just really impressed. I might actually have to upgrade the chassis too. I don't know. All sorts of money, right? And then I have a third with a 22-inch barrel from someone else. And I'm really impressed with these 22 aftermarket drop-in barrels. But this 18-inch is giving me everything I need. It's a wonderful suppressor host with the ammo that I'm going to be shooting. And if I want to shoot other stuff or cheaper stuff, I think I'll just stick with that match barrel from Jarvis. And it's absolutely worth it to me. I really like them. I'm a huge fan. So well done, Andrew, for making these. And I'm really happy with that. So everybody at Jarvis, this is phenomenal. You guys are doing great work. I know for a fact the effort that went into the barrel that I have here is going to be the same effort that goes into your barrels, if not even better. Sometimes I just tell people, give me a factory second or give me a scratched up barrel. Don't worry about it. And so I think you're going to have a really good experience. And is this barrel for you? Probably. If you like to shoot tighter groups, yes. That's pretty much all I have to say. It's too dark to keep talking and shooting. I've got at least 15 more rounds here, and I'm done making this video. So thanks, guys. Like, share, subscribe, and maybe watch one of these videos if you like this one.